But I want to get things started by talking with Tim Knight, who is the founder of the Basic Freedom Defense Fund. And Tim, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Glad to be here, Cam.
It's great to finally meet you. And by the way, I got to say thank you for the Sky Sox hat, the Colorado Springs Sky Sox, the local minor league baseball team. You know me so well, Tim.
Absolutely. Well, you've always had the good hats, Cam, so absolutely.
Listen, and really from gun owners all across the country, I've got to say thank you for what you're doing. And for what the volunteers with the Basic Freedom Defense Fund are doing. There have been people from all over the state, but primarily this was local. This is in these districts, in Senator Morse's district, in Senator Hurron's district.
Correct.
That's where the passion and the energy began, and then it has sort of drawn in people like a magnet.
Indeed, from Ohio even.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if it weren't for you guys doing this local, none of this would have happened.
No, it really took a whole bunch of good people to stand up. Because the board of the Basic Freedom Defense Fund, none of the six of us had ever been involved in politics other than voting before. So this is we're all newbies here. And we got told we couldn't do it. Well, I guess we proved them wrong.
Yeah, you certainly did. So what kind of education has this been for you, Tim?
Politics is a rough sport, Cam. It's tough. But you know what? The cool part is that so many people got off their couch and got involved who've never have before, that people are flexing their muscle. We're pretty excited.
Yeah. So of the six of you guys that had, you voted, you were active, right? But you weren't knocking on doors before elections or anything like that.
No. We were letting other people be the proxy for us, I think,
Yeah.
And we all learned and now magnify that message. You can't let someone else do it for you. You got to stand up. You got to do it.
First recalls in state history.
Yes, 137 years of history. Pretty neat.
It is pretty neat.
Yeah.
When you guys got together and thought, okay, we have to do something. Well, tell me the mindset about how the recalls came to be.
Right. Well, what it really stemmed from, of course, the guns was the original debate in the sense that it was the catalyst that got this started. Mm-hmm. But what was happening at the state capitol, which we all saw, whether either trying to participate or on video, was, wow, they don't want us to testify. They're going to ignore us, but they're going to let out-of-state celebrities testify for as long as they want. That kind of legislative tyranny just didn't go over with the people of Colorado. And then when Senator Morse said on a national show, well, I really don't care what my constituents think, and he told his caucus too, you know what, that lit the powder keg. That got people, what? So we started looking for options at that point.
It's interesting. Senator Morse, I saw, was quoted as saying, well, I'm afraid we're going to have elections in even years and then recall elections in odd years as a result of this. 137 years the state has gone without recalls.
Right.
And I don't think anybody, Tim, I don't think you don't seem like the type of guy who wants to do this every other year.
No, Cam, I'm good. This is extremely difficult. It's been an arduous task, one worth doing for sure. But they're not going to happen every other month or every other year. Yeah. It was an interesting sword, like we said, with the history given to the people through the Colorado Constitution to be able to use this recall. And since it's so seldom used and it's so hard to do, it's not going to be something we see every day.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. And I confess I had sort of those same concerns when we saw the recall elections in Wisconsin.
Sure.
But we haven't seen this take off. And what we've seen, actually, is that these recalls are used when a significant number of citizens get very upset with the action taken by a legislature. They think that it is contrary to how legislators ran.
Indeed.
And we saw that in Wisconsin. And again, some legislators lost, others, saved their seats. And since then, we've seen a lot of the I think acrimony over what was done in Wisconsin died down. Here in Colorado, it's kind of a different story. The acrimony has not died down. In fact, you have a vast majority of the county sheriffs in the state who are opposed to these new gun control laws.
How about those guys sticking up for the people? I mean, that's a good connection. That was pretty neat.
Yeah.
The people were pretty excited about that.
And I think, with law enforcement saying, look, we don't know how we're going to enforce these laws. We didn't ask for these laws. No. They're not going to help us reduce crime. They're not going to help us take bad guys off the streets.
Right.
Again, we've seen the anger and the resentment over these laws, I think, grow in Colorado, not
indeed.
Dissipate.
No, it has grown. A lot of people come to the conclusion later, especially when they go to buy something or do something, they're told, wait, what? I can't do this anymore? I think that was a big moment. As a matter of fact, some manufacturers would hesitate to want to send something to Colorado because it has a magazine capacity and the wrong number or whatnot. So it's affected commerce. and people's ability to even purchase firearms.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
and you look at what Magpul has done, and the fact of the matter is, even 2 or 3 years ago, when you talked about places where manufacturers might look to expand,
Right.
Colorado would have been on the list.
Yeah, what a great workforce, outdoor-oriented people. Why not?
Right.
Yeah.
And looking at Magpul's success, I think would have led other companies to say, oh, maybe we can replicate this here.
Indeed.
But because of the actions taken by the legislature here, I don't know of a single company. I mean, again, it's not just Magpul leaving. I don't know of any firearms-related company that is looking at Colorado to now expand. I mean, the message has been sent. You're not welcome here.
Right. And the other thing is that a lot of hunters are reevaluating where they want to go hunting. And you know what? They won't come to. A lot of them have written us and said, "Well, I can't come to Colorado. Just morally, I can't do it."
Right.
So they're going to go somewhere else. Well, we would love to share our great state with them, but that's not where they want to spend their money anymore. That's
Yeah.
pretty disappointing.
It is, and with all of this as the backdrop, the petitions started circulating, and people started signing.
Right.
And what's amazing, this is being billed, I think, nationally as Republican versus Democrat, or maybe Bloomberg versus the NRA.
Right.
But the number of Democrats who signed the recall petitions, both in Senator Morse's district and in Senator Hurron's district, it's substantial.
It's interesting, Cam, because when Washington left office, he warned us about political parties. He said, look, you got to think of the country first and then your political party second. And this petition and now the vote is showing that. A lot of people are saying, you know what, this isn't right. We weren't listened to. You're infringing on our rights. We're going to speak now through this process. So it's pretty darn neat that those words have stuck in some people's heads.
Absolutely. And so, Tim, given that we've had, roughly a week of early voting, where do you think things stand right now when the polls opened at 7 o'clock this morning for the official election day?
Sure. Yeah, I guess I'd phrase it this way. Every vote's going to matter. Really, it's going to come down to that. But we're cautiously optimistic because a lot of people really have gotten that message.
You've got groups as varied as Planned Parenthood, Organizing for Action, Mayors Against Illegal Guns, the DNC, trying to get voter turnout for the pro-recall side. Or for the anti-recall side, what are the pro-recall forces doing today to get voter turnout?
They're doing the same things, getting out and looking people in the eye and saying, hey, you know what, it really matters this time. Walking, I stood out on the street corner for a half hour this morning with a sign, spending time with, getting out there doing some retail politics, because if I got some spare time, that's what we go do, for sure.
What type of reaction did you get out there?
we got a lot of honks, and we got 2 thumbs down. That was kind of our Facebook no thumbs down, but mostly it was honks or a wave. That's pretty exciting. They always say getting out and waving a sign can really get you fired up. Well, it did. It really did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Talking with Tim Knight, the founder of the Basic Freedom Defense Fund, about the Colorado recall elections. And I got to say, Tim, the one thing that did kind of take me back today is that you look at the media coverage here. Right. In Washington, D.C., I'm getting a lot of these stories. National New York Times is writing about this. Washington Post is writing about this. Here locally, I figured that this would be dominating the news.
Right.
And I saw a story about free joints given out in Denver yesterday.
Right.
President Bush was speaking in Denver, and I guess there were anywhere from 30 to 100 protesters. So, of course, that's huge news. Is the mainstream media downplaying this story? And I'm curious if they're downplaying the story because they're concerned that Senator Morse and Senator Hurron are going to lose.
That may be part of it, for sure. The interesting thing is that our media, of course, was a trickle. Even yesterday, all of a sudden, it's exploded. Everyone wants to talk to us because this is real now, and they don't really have a choice. We're pretty excited about that, to at least let people give us our word. We don't want to come across people say, well, you're gun nuts. Well, yeah, do I own a gun? You betcha. Proud to be an NRA member. Very proud. But it's not about that. It's pretty neat.
We're watching not just Colorado, but in California right now. The legislature is the last week of session.
Right.
Senate just passed a bill that would ban lead ammunition in hunting in California beginning in 2019. They've got a magazine ban without any grandfather clause. They've got a new definition of what constitutes a big, scary, quote-unquote, assault weapon that's basically any centerfire rifle that can accept a detachable magazine.
Right.
And I've heard from a lot of Californians who are obviously very concerned. They feel like their legislators aren't listening to them. Very similar to what you're saying here. Do you have any advice for those gun owners out there in California?
Yeah, you know what? They've got to figure out a way to stand up. And I know it's hard because there's a super majority there. But there are parts of California that really probably could get something together and start making a difference at the local level. Because honestly, all politics is local. It starts there, Cam. Everyone is making a big deal of our little Senate District 11 here.
Yeah.
But, funny enough, we're all sitting here in Colorado with a national story. Why is that? So you know what? They can do it too. They can.
Absolutely.
I'll be glad to go out and help them. They can call me. Pass on my name because I'll do it.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
You bet. Being a native Californian, I think I owe something to that state too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know you don't want to see Colorado go the way of California.
No, I don't. I moved back here to raise my son because this is a tremendous place with the mountains and whatnot and teach him how to hunt. And that's what I wanted to do. I was lucky enough to be able to move back. And I don't want any more states gone. They say to the republic for which it stands. I know people scratch their head, republic, what? It's good that people are changing the narrative back. We're trying to do that.
Absolutely. How has this process changed you, Tim?
Well, my wife's tired of the phone, Cam. She doesn't like it so much because it rings all the time. It's given me a good mission, something to do, and it makes me feel proud that my son has trouble pronouncing the word republic, but he tries. But good people had to stand and do it, and I'm one of many. I'm but a small cog on the wheel. The people stood out in the sun, on planes, on their feet, at the Capitol. So I'm just glad to be a part of that.
Has this, regardless of the outcome tonight, has this given rise to a new generation of activists in Colorado?
Not just in Colorado, I think everywhere. We're getting calls from other people and interest. And the cool part is that people say, tonight, the results. Yeah, we're really excited and we hope we can win tonight. But we already did something that's never been done before. So, people say if you fail, because we had talked to a couple of our media outlets, and they always, well, let's get the angle to see how you failed and give us an answer for that. I can't give them an answer for that because we haven't failed and we won't. So even if the polls don't go our way tonight,
I've been thinking about this, and certainly you don't want to be the guys. Well, we won even though we really lost, but over $3 million has been spent
right
in these special elections. I saw Senator Moore spent somewhere less than $100,000, or maybe it was less than $200,000 when he ran for election last time.
Correct.
This has demonstrated that you can throw a lot of money at an election.
Right. You can even have a former president make a robocall.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, Bill Clinton made a robocall last night to both districts.
Really?
Yeah, he did. So obviously, it was taken pretty seriously.
Wow.
We'll see if we can get you a copy of that for the later in the broadcast.
I'm thinking a late night call from Bill Clinton might not go over well in a lot of households in Colorado. Hey.
Well, right. Hi.
What you doing?
Right.
What you wearing?
Honey, who's on the phone?
Some creepy guy is breathing heavy. I'm not sure. But you're right. And to try to bring out that star power.
Right.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz getting involved.
Right.
Kristen Gillibrand getting involved, trying to raise money.
Right.
All of this because you guys just decided
a little party we threw here, huh, Cam?
Right.
Yeah.
And you guys weren't going to take being told by your legislators, we don't have to listen to you.
You know what? There are rights. We have to defend them. As I said, we can't have any proxies. So join the NRA. I highly recommend it. It's a great group. But you as an NRA member need to go up and stand and do something. You can't just say, I'm a member. You got to go be a member.
Absolutely.
You can't pay to be a member. You should participate and be a member.
That's that's such great advice, Tim, because you're absolutely right. I think that we all need to be NRA members. We need to make the NRA as strong as we can.
Yep.
But we make the NRA as strong as it can be, not just by joining, but by being active and being involved. And I know you had a chance to talk with Sean Maloney from Ohio, right?
Yeah.
Guys like Sean, guys like you, the people who go that extra mile, who give of themselves so much for a cause that's bigger than them. You all are inspirations to gunners around the country. I think we need more folks like you.
Well, the cool part is that first of all, thank you. I'm glad to do it. I kind of feel it's my duty. We'd love to talk to other people who are interested and need help. Sean Maloney's great. He took time out of his personal schedule to come out here from Ohio because he gets it's a republic. You got to chip in there. And Colorado was the landing place. So they chose to chip in, and that's pretty darn neat. We had another guy fly up from Arizona, and he's in the military, and he took his leave and came up and and helped out and did signs and whatnot. And he took his time. It's pretty neat. Some people really do get it, and we're honored. We're honored to have everyone out and do that. That's what humbles us.
Well, listen, Tim, as always, sir, great talking to you, and I know we'll be touching base.
Indeed.
While we're here, we're going to be broadcasting live tomorrow as well. Best of luck to you guys in the recall elections. And are you hearing anything about turnout today?
I think turnout is up again. It's looking pretty good. People are getting out and voting. What little money we had, we spent last night on the very expensive TV ad. We didn't have much money, but we got our 30-second ad out there. Interacting with large media, it was interesting. You want to do what? We just want a 30-second ad, just one. That's all we can afford. But our message was, you got to get to the polls and tell anyone you know.
There you go. Tim,
hey, Cam,
thank you so much,
it's a privilege.
Absolutely. The pleasure is all mine.